Saltburn, directed by Emerald Fennell. I was impressed from the get-go. I liked the beginning, I liked the middle, and yes, I actually didn't mind the end. Emerald apparently is an Oxford graduate who went on to become quite a successful actress and ended up becoming a showrunner on a successful series called Killing Eve, especially here in the UK, and directed A Promising Young Woman, which won an Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. So she has an outstanding CV. Her background seems to be from some kind of privilege, and I know people might be annoyed, like, why is that important? I think it's important because the film is about privilege. I like the film, and I'm going to say it right up front, but let's dig a little bit deeper and let's find out the gritty, grimy details. There's as many one-star reviews as there are five-star reviews on Google, and I am interested to know why. First of all, here's the reasons why I enjoyed the movie. First of all, the acting was insanely good. Barry Keoghan is one of the most interesting and watchable actors out there, in my opinion. And this film keeps you absolutely glued on every scene because of him. There's a handful of other great actors around him, which definitely makes the film even more watchable, including Jacob Elordi and Alison Oliver, both exceptional performances. I'm interested in this world of high society and how the high society mixes with the lower classes. That is an interesting topic in itself. And I know firsthand that universities like Oxford and Cambridge actually have quite a lot of students on scholarships from lower classes, and they're trying to get more. This is a really interesting topic. For me, this is not a film that's going to delve deep into that. It's more delving into the psychology of these two characters, which ends up more of a talented Mr. Ripley type thriller than any kind of well-researched piece of work that will unravel why these universities are so elitist. This film very much is in the hands of the elite and the privileged. There still is this feeling that the director does like that kind of family, does like the eccentric family that lives in the stately home. Seeing Barry's performance as Oliver and the way he navigates his first time at university is really intriguing. When he eventually meets and befriends the rich and handsome Felix, can't help but root for Oliver and his need for popularity. He remains dark and ambiguous throughout. Locations, sets are all on point. Even the parts I was dreading, posh students having cocaine parties in mansions. These were actually done really well, and there was enough tongue-in-cheekness there to make me think it wasn't someone who was just reveling in this poshness and glory, and that is a massive turn-off for me and maybe some other people who are listening. But that's something I really, really hate. While it's not exaggerated, there is a little bit of a notion that she does understand that this is not a good way to live. And you kind of get that also through Oliver's character, who I just mentioned is very ambiguous throughout the film. Emerald Fennell was very good at showing the high society as being a big load of bullshit, which I really liked. I don't think anyone will leave this film thinking they don't want to be rich, though. There didn't seem to be much of a moral behind it. Some of the reviews suggest, and I'm sure a lot of you already know, there is a few turning points in this film that some may love and some may hate. First of all, we learn that Oliver is not who we think he is. He is a much darker and more calculated person, and we find out this when when it's revealed his parents are not the poor, drug addicted souls that he explained them being, and his father is still alive. They're actually very middle class. And we find that he's just made everything up to attract the attention of Felix. So that's the first turning point. And I think most people agree that is really good, because he's still left with Oliver, someone who is wanting to be part of the high society family, and he wants more from his life. We are with him on the journey. It's the second turning point that really bothers people, I think. And this is when we find out that he was calculated from the get-go. The problem with this is that we've invested so much of our emotional time caring about Oliver and actually putting ourselves in his shoes, and we have a lot of empathy for this character, and this is then swiped away from us. You all remember The Usual Suspects, where in the very final scene, Kevin Spacey, when the detective discovers the truth and it all comes together in the last moment. This film does not deliver in any way that, because you are there is no kind of shock there. And my big theory here is that Barry Keoghan played the character far better than I think Emerald could have imagined when she was writing the script. And therefore we have a first half of a film which is so spectacularly acted and so ambiguous. We are so drawn into him that if another character had played it, I think the ending wouldn't have seemed so jolting. But it felt too jolting because of Barry's performance. And this is just a theory of mine, because would she have known while she's writing that she would have had Barry as an actor? And I think another actor who was told that they were the murder at the end would have played it so much more differently. He was too convincing in the first half and too good. He gives you some seeds of information, but he hides them too well. And so you are 100% invested in him. Even then, you still don't get the usual suspects Kevin Spacey ending, because I don't think that was written into the script. For me, an amazing film, and I think it's going to do really, really well over time. It will age well. It's a brilliant depiction of that high society and low society. There is a lot of wallowing in the richness and pompness and the poshness, which we all hate now, and we just think, why does it exist? Coming from a filmmaking point of view, this is a really, really good film. It's not a film that I would say I know her as a director, though. It's not a film where I think she's playing a bit to the audience. I want to see films by good directors where you can see their personality. And here I think it seemed like a film that was aiming to be more like Knives Out and not really telling us about her as a director. So this is not a criticism. This is like, I can't wait to see her film, her next film. And I should probably go back and watch The Promising Young Woman, which I haven't seen yet, which might actually answer that question. It makes me want to know more, but it definitely wasn't the film where I felt I knew anything about her as a director or as a person or what she's trying to say. She definitely managed to copy and paste the Talented Mr. Ripley script very well, and I have no qualms with that. Thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe.